Okay, so hello YouTube. So having a quick look at this external drive, which is for HP 152 touchscreen machine, which we'll have a look at separately when we join it all together. So this unit came as part of a stack. So we have a 15 megabyte Seagate MFM drive in here. We've got a 3.5 inch Sony double-sided, double density floppy, I think. All in a nice rugged enclosure, and just around the back we've got the HP, oops, let's turn this around, HP which was it? HP IB interface. I'm not terribly familiar with the interfacing on the HP machines. So this particular one, if we just take the back off, so there we go. There we go. So you can see the floppy drive. This is the MFM controller board. There are two ROMs. These are the cables that go down to the hard disk that sits underneath, and the power supply basically slots in. Some rails at the back, the power supply comes out. Surprisingly worked. Power supply tested good, so 5 volts, 12 volts, pretty much on the money. Not surprising, because a lot of the older machines that were kind of well built like this, they have good quality electrolytic capacitors. I did change a couple of capacitors. The regulator side facing the machine, changed those, and changed the mains filter capacitors, but generally speaking, there's no need to worry too much about that. Especially in the older machines, they do tend to hold on to their values pretty well. So, but because I had them in the Spurs box, I figured I'll just take them on there. The mechanisms, there is a good YouTube video that talks about how to service these floppy drives. This one is pretty good, so it works freely. There is an issue with the grease getting hard on these, and the mechanism seizing up, and that can actually cause damage if you try and force it. So there is a YouTube channel which I'll link to that talks about how to dismantle these, and I was quite fortunate with this one. It didn't have the grease wasn't that hard, so I was able to clean up what little there was left and put some fresh on. The stuff I generally use for, where is it? Well, I'll come back to that. I'll post a link to the grease as well. I tend to use a certain type of grease for this type of job, which is used for lubricating bikes, and it works really well. So this model is a 9133. And one other little thing to mention, I've retro-brighted the faceplate, so that looks kind of okay. This was what it looked like. This is another expansion unit, but it's purely for floppy drives. And there's quite a difference. So that was just a little bit of hydrogen peroxide from Amazon on a sunny day in a clear plastic container. Kind of did a reasonable job. So quite happy with this overall. Though very happy actually, because I'm surprised it worked after all these years. So I'm going to get the machine back together and do a little bit of a clip on it running. So we'll come back to that later. So there you go.